Hello and welcome to JayBMe Reviews with me, JayBMe. Hey, how you doing?
Hello.
I'm alright,
Hi.
thanks.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
for asking.
How you doing?
Cheers.
Hi.
So,
Hello.
today I would like to talk to you about Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, okay? I've had a lot of discussions with peoples who have thought this game was naff, and I will partially agree, but then I partially do not agree as well. So let me start with the bare basics. It's not a game. It's more of an experience, not really something that you can throw yourself into and get all of the cheapy thrills from something like, Gears of War, to quote a
Get it out.
more popular
go on.
gaming experience.
Yeah, well done.
Now, Everybody's Gone to the Rapture is an interactive story. That's the best way to describe it, I think. Yes. So, if your jam is not walking around and pressing X to interact with things and occasionally tilting your controller from side to side, then it's probably not the game for you. Now, what it does have going for it, however, it has a mildly good story. Now, for anybody that is into games like Heavy Rain, or Journey, Glower, those sorts of games, then this is a game on par with.
You're losing it. Bring it back. Come on, talk about.
So let's not talk about the gameplay, because the gameplay is clearly the weakest link of the whole experience. What I really liked about it, was basically, it might be me being slightly, what's the word? Racist, yeah, maybe, because I am from the UK, and the aesthetics of the game is basically a UK experience, and it is wonderful, right down to the signposts, down to the voice work that's done by the characters within the game. The characters within the game they're all right. They're a mixed bag. Well, I'm probably going to discuss that with you now. There are going to be mild spoilers involved. If you're not really that fussed about the story anyway, then it doesn't really matter. But because the biggest part of the game is actually finding out about the characters within the game and how they got to the position that they're in at the end, that's basically all I've got to talk about, really. So for example, there's one that you meet called Jeremy, and his character arc is one of religion. Now, for me personally, it didn't resonate so well. I wouldn't say I'm an atheist, but I wouldn't say that I'm particularly religious either. So for that storyline to come about, I didn't really give me any of the feels that you probably are expected to have. Yes, there is another woman called Wendy. She is the one of the main character's mothers. It's mildly interlinked within the story. She was unlikable. Very unlikable character. Don't understand why I'm supposed to care about her. All she does is bitch about her son and the fact that he's with somebody that she doesn't approve of. Again, it's probably something that I don't really have a lot of experience with. I've always been quite open-ended in terms of parents. My mother never really held me down with her tiny weeny skinny thumb and made me do all of the things that she wanted me to do. I was relatively free to do as I pleased, and I feel for young Stephen, the son of this character Wendy, because living with that for all of his life must not have been a very pleasant experience. Now, lastly, there is probably one of the better ones. His name is Frank. He's mildly intertwined. One of the only people that the main character, Kate, can speak to, that you find out at the end of the game. Again, it's an alright story arc. It gave me more of the feels at the end of it than the other two, for example. Something to do with his sister. It's been about a month since I played the game, so you're gonna have to bear with me. I only know vaguely what I actually played. It's a memorable experience, yes. So Frank's story arc was okay, sort of intertwined. It wasn't until, and this is the thing, it wasn't really until, it was split up into 3 different sections. So you had your beginning part, and then you had your middle part, and then you basically had the end part. You know how real storytelling works! So from the end part, I would generally do that from the caravan park. That's when it starts getting interested. You do have a little bit of, put in bits up to that point, but nothing is more interesting than when you get to the caravan park and onwards. So the caravan part then. Right, this is where you focus heavily on Lizzie. Lizzie is, basically there's three main characters in my head. There is Stephen, Kate and Lizzie. Basically they're in a bit of a love triangle. Stephen was with Lizzie beforehand. They were due to be engaged, but for whatever reason they broke up. And then Stephen's with Kate now, and Kate comes from America, and she's come over to live in his hometown, but everyone's sort of like,
oh my god, she's well, I mean, she's fucked from the end, but at the same time, I'll definitely give her one of my bullies up her when I fling it
like
right
that.
up.
Now, let me tell you, right, okay, I understand that it was probably made from, it has a distinct 80s, 90s vibe, but I'm pretty sure, being around about that time, that not a lot of people really cared if there was an American person living within their community. Okay, nobody really thought of them as alien. And maybe that's the point, but we'll get to that bit in a minute. If you wanted a bit more impact within the story as opposed to the outsider coming in, maybe they should have gone for something, I don't know, a little bit fitting of the time where people would have been like, nah, not that interested in that sort of person living in my town. Just throwing it out there. Don't want to make any suggestions. I'm sure that you can, in your head, think of a fair few people and types of people that would make the story just a little bit more believable. Okay, but we've gone way off topic. Lizzie then. Lizzie's character is very interesting. Their relationship is actually really interesting. The whole three-way thing is, for my books, it was the best part of the story. You are more or less guessing as to whether Steve and Liz are going to continue their prolonged affair, and if they're going to end up together in the end. There was a character called Rebecca, basically. They've got a baby. It was really thrown in. I don't know if it was thrown in just because, you know, they wanted a bit of a heartstring tugging moment. But yeah, there was a woman with a baby in the community hall. It's all very sad. It's all very, the music at that point is very on point. She like sings a little rhyme that's also vaguely to do with the whole outcome of the story. Yeah. And then Kate's character. Okay, my biggest problem with all of the game is that when you initially go into the game, you are told by Kate, I am the only one left.
Sorry, did the game just ruin it for me?
That's how the story pans out. So you're basically told at the beginning that that's what's going to happen. That's what you're going to expect. So you go through all of this thing to try and get an emotional connection to the characters. So you do get an emotional connection to the characters, only to find out at the end that they have all perished. Now, let me tell you about the end, because that is probably the most frustrating bit about it. Okay, it's not that it's a bad ending. It was an okay ending. It was acceptable. But from what you were doing the whole time, I was a little bit let down by the whole experience, because I was expecting something massive. But you're told in the end, from Kate's perspective, how everything's panned out. Now, for me personally, I think it's a bit of a cop-out, really. The fact that she's, well, there is going to be spoilers here and now. She basically says, oh yeah, everybody's dead, but it's fine, because everybody's ended up with who they wanted to end up with. So Frank's with his dead sister, and Steve's with Lizzie, and she doesn't really go into it. I'm assuming that means the afterlife. And she's like, oh, but I'm the only one that survived. And I was like well into this light thing, and the whole game she's trying to like make connections with this light. Oh, so beautiful, the light, coming to the light. And I'm pretty sure that I got the complete ending, because I played it again just to get a trophy, and you don't really get into that bit. She doesn't explain it if you haven't already experienced the bits that you're supposed to experience for each character. In summation, okay, in summation to all of this, I've gone through, this is pretty much the whole game. In summation, you are playing an episode of Emmerdale. It's northern people, they're all fucking each other, they're all fucking each other over, and they're all like atoning for their sins. They know that there's something bad's happening because there's a flu epidemic, inverted commas. It's going through the telephones, and eventually the light gets hold of everyone, and it doesn't help. And again, major spoilers here, but Stephen orders a bomb drop on the entire town from one person he's speaking to. Now, I am sorry, but he is a scientist. How in the blue name of Kreppenschuten is he allowed to order a bomb drop on an entire town? Now, it doesn't make any sense to me. That makes fuck all. It's nonsense is what it is. Now, oh yeah, I'm a scientist. It's an epidemic, man. Yeah, so that means you're gonna have to drop a bomb on this town to get rid of it, okay? And the man on the other end of the telephone is like, I don't think I can do that. And he's like, it's the only way! For God's sake! You got to do it! And then, as he's doing it, guess what he does? He hides in a bunker. Yes! In a bunker! He goes underneath the bunker and he goes, my dad gave more attention to a fox than he did to me. I was tortured. I'm hurt. I'm gonna stay in the bunker. And then there's a little bit where he's trying to contact people on the outside, even though he's fully aware that he's dropped a bomb on all of them. And he's like, no, there's no one left. I'm trying to reach people for hours. And then apparently, just out of nowhere, the light comes to him and he's like, yeah, but I'm gonna kill you. So, you bastards, I'll be the last one left and you won't be allowed to survive. Although full well, he knows that it's gone further, okay? He knows it's an epidemic that's gone outside of his remit, but he still tries. I don't know. Maybe that's a human experiment thing, alright? Maybe you don't know how you'd react in that situation. Maybe if I had all of the power in the world, I would order a fucking bomb on all of the people that I loved as well and make it all like, oh, sacrilegious, I had to do it, but I'm so sad because of it. This is the bit that's annoyed me the most, obviously, you can tell, right? But there is a fucking glaring hole in the whole story because he's down in a bunker. Ooh, okay. Alright. And then his answer to it is to set fire to himself. Okay. To set fire to himself. And he's going to set fire to the fucking light. As if you're going to destroy the thing by setting a light to it. It is light. And in his last moments, he sees Kate. And that's where the end happens. Look. Okay. I realise now this was going to be a review. It was going to be positive. When I first finished this game, I was like, wow! That was an amazing experience. I need to tell people about it. And then in a month on, okay, the more I sat and thought about it, it wasn't particularly the most groundbreaking thing I ever did play. But my biggest thing to you, if you have it in your PlayStation Plus list of things to download, even if you play it the once, it is a good experience. It's a fantastic experience. There is fantastic graphics in it. Granted, they probably didn't have to do an awful lot to make it look good, whereas other games, you know, they have to rely on getting good gameplay. This one just makes everything look pretty. It's a fantastic experience. Everybody should try it at least once. There are glaring flaws in it, but it's fantastic nevertheless. So overall, if I had to give it a score, I'd give it a B- or a C+. You know, whatever takes your fancy. The B-, mainly because of the first experience that I had with it. The C+ is an afterthought. You know, it just doesn't. I'm never going to play it again. Never going to play it again. But it was fantastic whilst I did it. So what do you think, oh lovely viewers / listeners? Do you reckon it's a pile of poop? Or would you give it a go? Have you ever played it? I would say answer in the comments, but you know, do what you want really. The only thing I will ask for you to do, if you don't mind, is give this a little subscribe maybe. I'll put some more videos up. What do you reckon? Eh? Woohoo! Woohoo! And do you have any games you would like me to play? I don't know if I'd play it in its entirety or to completion. To be honest, I'm a lazy gamer. I've said it a few times. You should be listening to what I'm saying. But yes, I'm more than open to any suggestions. Just bear in mind that I don't have a capture card. It is just PlayStation 4 at the moment, unfortunate to lie. As great as some of the older games are, and I definitely love to do it. Or are you just happy with me just rambling on regardless? Anyway, I've been doing that far too much. I hope you enjoyed it. Give it a subscribe, and I'll probably see you next time. Woohoo!